Hey guys, you might be wondering why I haven't posted for a while. There's a very good reason for that. We went over to Europe and I had a wonderful time. And while we were over in Europe, we went to Italy. Anytime I go to Italy, I have to go to Cremona. Cremona is just such an amazing city. They say the violin was invented in Cremona, but it's just got this amazing history, and now there are well over 250 violin makers living in this one town. It's just amazing. Everywhere you walk, there's things, violin-related things. They make cakes out of violin-shaped cakes and things like that. But I really wanted to show you this beautiful city. Join me as I show you what my 2 days in Cremona were like. Just wondering where I am, really. Yes, I'm definitely in the city of violin making. I'm just going to go exploring in Cremona today. We're staying at this beautiful place. Have a little look. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's a bit of an overcast day. It's 4 degrees here, which is a bit different to the 33 degrees we've been having in Brisbane, Australia. I'm just going to wander around Cremona a little bit and kind of look at the different violin shops. There's some suppliers I want to go to. For a violin maker, this is an amazing place to be. I guess it's same for a violinist. It's just before 10 o'clock, so the shops haven't quite opened, but they're all about to. I'm also going to visit a friend of mine who's a violin maker here. There's a lot of violin shops here in Cremona. It's incredible. A whole lot of violin makers as well. It's a Monday morning, so it's quite business-like here. You know, people heading to work and that kind of thing. Actually, I think people are already at school. This is just near Via Garibaldi, where Stradivarius' shop used to be. I'm just walking down one of the main streets in Cremona. It's just amazing to think that 300, 400 years ago, the famous violin makers would have walked down these streets. And I think some of the things really wouldn't have changed much since then, really. And that's just amazing. So some violin makers are really obvious, and others just have a look up there in the window. And the only way you can really tell is seeing that little sign in the window or the button. Just have a look at this. And that's pretty much the only sign you can see. But up here, there's a whole bunch of violin shops I'll show you. There's another one here that's right in the square, so good place for a violin shop. So here you really get violin makers from all over the world. Like there was a French violin maker there. It's just amazing. So people from all over the world set up their workshops here. So the instruments are made in Cremona. But, they're makers from all over the world. Well, I was going to go to Stradivarius' house. I don't know, somehow I don't think they'd really appreciate me going in right now. The other really amazing thing, of course, in Cremona is the famous tower. It's the tallest church tower, I think, in Europe. Quite amazing. It's really amazing. Just take a look at it. Just walking through a park, and here we've got Stradivarius tombstone. Okay, so in Cremona there are over 130 violin shops, and I think in the region itself there's over 290 or something like that violin makers, which is totally crazy. Like, to be able to go to one town and see that many violin shops and violin makers, that is just incredible. Now the question here is, of course, are violins in Cremona better? To me, I'm just going to answer it straight away. Why would they be? So if you think about it logically, there are violin makers here from every area in the world. There are American violin makers, there are people from Germany and England, America, Italy, and just about anywhere else in the world. And they learn violin making here at this school and in other places, just like violin makers all around the world. So while there's a really good range of violins here, there's no, you can't say that, yes, Cremonese violins are better. It's just amazing that Look, there's another sign. It's just amazing that you can just go to one city and compare that many violins. It's like everywhere. I mean, this is called Bar Violino. So there's a violin shop right here. Now, the amazing thing in Cremona is it's not just violin makers. They actually have a violin museum. So it's all based around Stradivarius. They have a huge collection of his tools, numerous instruments, and then of course instruments of some of the other famous makers in Cremona. Have a look at this. The great thing is that they have a full purpose-built building now housing the violin museum, so it's super amazing. Just to point out, there's a statue of Stradivarius. I don't know if anyone actually really knows what he looked like, but that's kind of how they did it. That's a museum over here. So I've got my ticket and I'm about to go in. This is very cool. Wow, that was amazing. I've been here before, twice actually, but it's I think they're displaying more things, and it's just so good to see his tools and his templates. Like, Stradivarius was a genius at creating templates and things so that each instrument was made to the same level of quality, and he employed quite a few people that helped him in the workshop, and so he really wanted to make sure that instruments were made the same. It sounds a bit disrespectful, but it's similar to some of the modern business models where they duplicate things, like, even places like McDonald's. Ray Kroc was quite a genius at, he found this burger place that made perfect burgers, and then he just tried to duplicate them so anyone could make them afterwards. I mean, Stradivarius obviously employed a bunch of really skilled makers, but he was very diligent, and he was a perfectionist to make sure that each of his instruments would end up being, the same kind of quality. Yes, definitely a genius. Anyway, I'm gonna walk back into Cremona. Just gonna soak up this experience. It's just awe-inspiring as a violin maker when you come to a place like this and you see so much history. It's just amazing. I mean, all the work, the different instruments, incredible workmanship. They had that exhibition of other violin makers that contributed to their Cremonese violin makers. It was just incredible. The other amazing thing about Cremona is they have a violin making school. Now, what happened was that pretty much once Stradivarius finished and then Guarnerius died, violin making in Cremona declined really quickly. And other centers around the world, like places in Germany, France, and other places, picked up where Cremona left off. But it really just kind of died, and there was very little violin making in Cremona between about the 1780s and the late 1800s. And then some makers got back into Cremona and started making again, but they wanted to really make Cremona the violin making center of the world again. And so in the 1900s, they started the Cremona Violin Making School. And the first teacher there was actually not an Italian, it was a Hungarian violin maker. So I went and visited the violin making school. I talked to some of the students, and I will actually make a whole video about the violin making school. But it's one of the places I went to. It's just amazing. So I'm just at the Cremona Violin Making School, and the master here allowed me to do a little bit of filming, what the students are doing at the moment here. So they're all kind of basically learning violin making. I also visited a good friend of mine, Roberto, and visited his workshop, had a look at his instruments, had a chat to him, and he just let me film a little bit around the workshop. Have a look at this. I'm just here with my friends Roberto Cavagnoli, just having a look at his workshop. What are you working on, Roberto?
I'm working on a new model for a viola.
Oh, beautiful. Here are some of the violins that Roberto has been working on. One that he's antiquing, another one of the newest ones here. Yeah, they're looking beautiful. So no Cremona trip would be complete without buying some tools. Of the places I'm always really excited about going to is Cremona Tools, which is a supplier for violin maker. You know how you get really excited about violin shops? I get excited about the tools. That pretty much ends our time in Cremona. It's been absolutely wonderful. I've looked at a lot of violin shops from the outside. It just kind of reminded me of work. It's been nice visiting Roberto and seeing him again. We've known each other for many years and he's helped me a lot over the years, especially around here. Yeah, but it's an amazing place. There are so many violin makers. If you are a violinist or a string player, you've got to come and have a look at Cremona. Don't come on a Monday because everything's closed. So you're better off coming from Tuesday till Saturday or even Sunday. But on Sunday you won't find any violin makers that are open, or many violin makers that are open. So anyway, there you go. So if you're ever in Italy, make sure you take a trip to Cremona. It's not that far away from Milan, not that far away from Bologna, not that far away from Florence. So it's absolutely worth taking the trip up or down or across to Cremona and having a look. If you're a string enthusiast, it's just something you have to do. It is just so inspiring. I had a really great time. I even bumped into a couple of fans of mine, which was really nice. Yeah, so it's definitely worth it. So I hope you enjoyed this little side trip to Cremona. I'm going to do some more videos. Firstly, one about the violin making school, and I'll be doing one about the violin museum. So look out for those. You'll find out when I post those, if you subscribe and click the little bell. That way you'll find out every time I post a new video. Also hit the like button, because the more likes I get, the more people get to see my videos. And who wouldn't want to see more of my videos? Anyway, keep making beautiful music. It's nice to be back in the studios, and I'll have lots of exciting videos coming up for you this year. Okay, see you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.